Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This video I'm going to try and do the booktube reading habits tag. I know this tag isn't as current as the newbie booktube tag that I did recently, but it's another chance for you guys to get to know me as I try and grow this channel. Speaking of channel growth, this video also doubles up as a 100 subscriber celebration. As of now, my YA fiction addiction has over 100 subscribers. I am so grateful to each and every one of you, especially those that comment on my videos and say hi, and those that have shared my channel online or shown it to friends and family and anyone else they think that would enjoy this sort of content. I've met so many nice people so far and I cannot wait to meet even more of you. So for everyone that has subscribed to this channel, this video is dedicated to you. Thank you guys so much. Okay, question 1. Do you have a certain place at home for reading? I will say I do enjoy reading both on and in my bed. I do prefer reading in daylight because I feel like if I'm reading at night I do tend to fall asleep. Although saying that, I was reading yesterday and I did fall asleep about 4 p.m, so I really don't think this theory has much ground to it. But yeah, I will literally lie like on my stomach with my legs in the air and just like reading face down. Equally, I do quite enjoy reading in the bath. I also have the fear that I'm going to drop my book in the water and it will be ruined forever. So if I read in the bath, I usually take my Kindle because it's a lot lighter and there's like a less chance of it falling out of my hand. Question 2. Bookmark or random piece of paper? Oh, I am such a bookmark girl through and through. I used to like dog ear fold my pages over, but through the years, as I've started to buy more and more books, I have moved into the bookmark territory just because the money's now coming out of my account and I feel like I should respect my books a bit more, which also means I can buy loads of cool bookmarks. I'll show you 2 of my favourite bookmarks just in case you're interested. At the moment I'm sort of low-key reading 2 books at the same time, but I'll talk about this more in question 6. So in my copy of Little Women I have this bookmark which is slightly dog-eared and tattered. So this bookmark is a poem by Rudyard Kipling called If, and my grandma sent this to me in some post. I think she just sent me like a card and she put this inside. I thought it was a really sweet idea and I really actually love the poem on this bookmark. I've just realised that I've just taken that out of the book, so I have no idea what page I'm on anymore. My other favourite bookmark is quite a new one, so it's in my Lost Book of the White, and I will make sure to hold my finger on this page this time. This is actually a bookmark with a cartoon of Emma Carstairs on, and I honestly love it so much. I was actually shopping on Etsy at the time for like a small graduation gift or like token for my best friend, and I got her a card on there, but I also got her the Christina Rosales bookmark from the Dark Artifices series, which is really similar to the Emma one, but obviously with a cartoon of Christina. And at the same time I was like, wow, if I'm getting this bookmark shipped from around the world, I might as well get one for myself as well. If you've watched my latest video about me talking about the hardest Shadowhunter characters to fancast, you will know that Emma Carstairs has a huge piece of my heart. So honestly, this bookmark went straight into my basket and I didn't even think about it. Question 3 is, can you just stop reading or do you have to stop after a chapter or certain amount of pages? Usually I'm quite good with this and I will try to get to the end of the chapter, or at least get to like a break in the chapter with like a natural pause between 2 paragraphs. However, I have been guilty of sometimes just putting the book down and actually like falling asleep with the book in my hand if the story just isn't gripping me. Sadly, this did happen with Little Women, and a few days ago I tried to read this again and I literally fell asleep and woke up with it by my head. So yeah, with this book I have sort of put it down mid-sentence. I'm very sorry, Louisa May Alcott. Question 4. Do you eat or drink while reading? My favourite thing to drink while reading is a cup of tea. I know, how British of me. I don't tend to eat while I'm reading because I'm too busy focusing on the book at hand. When I'm eating I really want to like focus on the food and like how tasty it is, so I will probably just like drink and read, but I'll never eat and read. Also, this might be a bit gross, but I feel like I'm kind of guilty of like staining my books, either with like hand cream splodges or just other liquids. But I feel like if I was eating like a biscuit I would just totally get crumbs in the spine and like chocolate stains. Hence this is another reason not to be eating and reading at the same time. Question 5. Multitasking. Music or TV while reading? Usually no. I do like to read in silence just so I can sort of focus on the book, although I must say recently I have been enjoying reading some of the Shadowhunter books with some playlists in the background. Cassie actually made a Chain of Gold playlist on Spotify, which is actually really good. I'll leave a link in the description below if you guys want to check this out. The other day I actually also made the mistake of listening to this beautiful piece of music that I found online, which is used as the outro to the Clockwork Princess audiobook. So I listened to this, and straight after I listened to another piece of composed music that was a theme tune for Jem and Tessa. This song is so beautiful, so shout out to the composer. I will leave her link below. But basically I had these like 2 songs back to back, and then I read the Clockwork Princess epilogue. This was not a good idea. When I tell you, I was absolutely bawling my eyes out. It was just horrendous. It took me about half an hour to recover from this. On a slightly happier note, I have started to make some sort of like character playlists on my Spotify. And when I say started, I mean I've started an Emma Carstairs one, and the Isabel Lightwood one also has 2 songs on it. I don't know why, but I feel like whenever I find a piece of music that like fits a book really well or fits a certain character, I can never listen to that song again without associating it with the book. This happened when Taylor Swift released Folklore, and I was reading The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes at the same time, and it just hit me that Exile featuring Bon Iver is just such a Snow and Lucy Gray Baird song, and now I literally cannot listen to Exile without thinking about their relationship. So thanks for that, Taylor. Question 6. One book at a time or several at once? Usually I tend to do one book at a time just so I can really focus on it, but at uni I did tend to read one university book that I had to read for a certain module that was a bit more heavy, so at the same time I would read like a different book on the side before I went to bed, usually YA. Question 7. Reading at home or everywhere? Oh, everywhere for sure. One of my favourite things to do is to sit on a train and sit in the window seat, put either a classical music playlist or something that's really easy listening at quite a low volume, read, and at the same time just like stare out the window at the scenery. If you get a train across the UK, chances are you'll be going past like loads of rolling green fields and countryside at one point, so this is like the most dramatic and best thing. Question 8. Reading out loud or silently in your head? I definitely prefer to read silently in my head. I feel like if I read out loud, it takes so long, and I'm sort of not paying attention to the words as much. I'm more about how my voice sounds in my head. Also, my book list is so long. I really don't have time to be reading books aloud. I just read them silently, get through it, so I can start the next new one straight after. Question 9. Do you read ahead or even skip pages? In general, I'm quite good with this. I won't read ahead, and I will try not to skip pages. However, sometimes I am guilty of, if I know that like characters finally get together in one scene after like a massive build up, sometimes I will skip to that part and read it first and then go back and carry on from the beginning. However, usually I'm actually quite good at avoiding doing this and stopping myself from spoiling the plot. For example, in The Lost Book of the White, I know that there is a chapter where Jem and Tessa get married at the end of this book, so it's taken everything I have not to read this first, because one of my friends told me that it ties in really well to the plot of this book and that I should wait until the end to read it and it would all make more sense that way. But honestly, it has taken me so much restraint not to skip to the end and read this first. Question 10. Breaking the spine or keeping it like new? Okay, I am actually really guilty of breaking the spine of a book and sort of like bending it in all shapes and sizes. I think a part of this does come from me liking to read in sort of like different positions. Say if I'm like on my back in the garden and like the sun's shining, and I'll try and like protect my face with the book, and I'll sort of bend it like this over my face to protect it. A normal person would just wear sunglasses, but for me, I feel like a book blocks the light. So yeah, this usually does end up sadly bending the spines of my books. And last but not least, question 11. Do you write in your books? I feel like I used to write in my books a whole lot more, and my favourite ever book, Las Sombras del Viento, or The Shadow of the Wind in English, because I did read the English version before I read the Spanish version, has so many annotations in, and just like when I've highlighted my favourite quotes. Equally, I tend to annotate my uni books. For example, this copy of Nervous Conditions, which is an amazing book about African society and the consequences of colonial invasion. This book is very annotated, full of multicoloured papers and bookmarks. For books that I didn't have for university or books that I read more in my free time, they're not annotated as much, and for the video series that I'm doing when I am close reading and analysing Cassandra Clare's Chain of Gold, I'm actually making the notes on my Kindle in like a digital format, so I'm not writing on my Chain of Gold copy itself, partly because it's so much easier to annotate on a Kindle, and partly because the Chain of Gold copy I have is not actually mine. It's still my best friend's, and she would not not appreciate it if I just scribbled, oh my god, hashtag Tom Stare in black biro all over the chapters. Okay, that's it for this video. That is the end of the reading habits tag. Please join me in celebrating my 100 subscriber milestone. I'm so grateful to everyone that has liked, shared, watched, commented, or just engaged with these videos. Your support means the world, and I will see you guys next time.